I am recording. I told you I was about to record. Okay, so I told you that we were going to start back with number 11. I didn't feel good about number 11 yesterday. Sorry. There we go. We kind of rushed at the end to get number 11 done, and I felt like I was leaving something out. So sure enough, I looked at it after you guys left, and I left something out. And what I left out are the rules for linear equations. I forgot one of them. So if you wrote down what we did on number 11 yesterday, and you have that answer written down, can you see which rule I forgot?
Not fractions.
No, we didn't have any fractions.
A cannot be negative.
There it is. I knew I was forgetting something, and it's this one. Whoops, that's funny. It's this one. A cannot be negative. So your leading coefficient, that leading coefficient means the very first number that you see in an equation. That leading coefficient cannot be negative. All right, so
Does that mean that we just multiply the entire thing by negative?
so when we get done at the end of number 11 there, and I'm just going to go through the whole thing again. I'm just going to start over, and we're going to do it again because I know there's some. I felt like I rushed through it anyway and didn't do a good job with it yesterday. So let's do number 11. So number 11, we know the two intercepts, which means we have two ordered pairs, right? So an x-intercept would be 6, 0, and our y-intercept is 0, -2. So there's our two ordered pairs. Okay, and with two ordered pairs, I can find the slope. So that would be -2 minus 0 over 0 minus 6, right? That's just the slope formula, so -2 over -6. So that would be a positive 1/3. Okay, so with that, I can use point slope form. I have a positive 1/3, and I have two ordered pairs to choose from for point slope form, so I can do y minus 0, I think is going to be the easiest one to use, equals 1/3 times 6. Nope, I put that backwards. X, thank you. X minus 6. Okay? So then I would have y equals 1/3 x minus 2. So that's just, all I've done is I point slope, and then when I distributed here, and since that was a 0, that was easy. So now I've got it in slope-intercept form, right? So I went in one step from point slope form to slope-intercept form, but I still need to get to standard form, right? So standard form, we've got to have the rules. So we've got to have x and y on the same side. We can't have any fractions. They can't have any common factors, and a can't be negative. Okay, so those are all the rules. So if I just move this one over, move negative 1/3 x over.
Why did it become negative?
Because I'm subtracting on this side, right? Okay, so negative 1/3 x plus y equals -2. So I'm breaking two rules right now. What two rules am I breaking? Got a fraction, and a can't be negative. So I've got to get rid of that, and I can do that in one step.
Multiply by -3.
If I multiply by -3, then I'll fix both of those problems. So I'm going to multiply everything by -3, both sides. I kind of ran out of room over here on the left. So multiply here, that crosses out the fraction. I would have a positive x, then what?
What's
Minus 3y equals positive 6. Okay. All right.
That's okay. I wish you guys were up a note because that's a lot to remember, but I'll try.
I'll probably help you. Maybe I'll post those rules for standard form at least. I felt like I don't feel like I did a good job of like driving those rules home as we did that lesson on standard form. That, I mean, I even forgot one of them while we were trying to do that problem. We were rushing through it yesterday, but, so I will at least give you those rules. But, you know, that's one question, so I think it'll be okay. All right, are we good with 11 then? All right, sorry I botched that one yesterday, but I was glad we got to start with it again today. Glad that wasn't the day before today, that the test isn't today. Number 12, what is the equation in standard form of the line? Y minus 5 equals 3/2 times x plus 6. What form is that equation in? It's in point slope form.
Are you trying to get it to standard?
So we can get it to standard form, and we can do that in a couple of steps. It's gonna, I mean, one thing that I will caution you guys about, some of you guys are smarty pants and you feel like you can just do everything in your head, but don't get caught up just trying to do things in your head and not show some work. What do you see about these answers though, Kurt?
Is there only one in standard form?
There's only one equation that's even written in standard form in the equation, in the answers.
Oh.
So, I mean, you know, that's not standard form, that's not standard form, that's not standard form,
Here's standard form.
that's gotta be the one. I mean, I kinda hate that they did that because that is,
Easy.
it makes it, well, you don't have to do any math, you just have to know what standard form is. And maybe that's all they wanna do, they're testing your knowledge of what standard form looks like or
I
not.
wanna solve it. I'm
So-
solving it anyway.
Well, that's not bad for you to solve it.
Are we gonna switch number 12 on the test to where
No,
it
don't do it,
is?
don't switch it, don't switch it.
I'm not, I already have an edited form of the test that honestly, I can't remember what's on all of it. And I'm not above editing some more questions if I feel like I need to, but I won't make it intentionally harder. There might already exist a test form that has other options on it. I mean, there could be one that said like 3x plus 2y equals 28 or something like, where they just change some of the signs, right? So that's what I want you to be aware of, that you could need to solve it just to figure out what needs to be negative and what needs to be positive. All right, let's keep going.
I think I know 13.
You think you know 13?
I think it's C
I think
again.
it's C, yeah.
Didn't stop being a smart
Okay.
No, you don't even have to be smart, you just have to
All
have
right, well,
common
let's not
sense.
move.
I mean,
Oh
there's
my
an X and a
goodness.
Y,
Yeah,
and it's
Ruby.
asking you what the X and the Y
Oh,
are.
wait, no. 'cause you
Okay,
said
there we
C,
go.
It's B. Wait,
Cold.
no, never mind.
Cold.
My brain just went.
I haven't even read the question yet. All right.
I think it's C.
What are the x and y intercepts of the graph? 5x plus 8y equals 20. Well, if you put and this is super simple, guys. This is one I'm telling you. When there's a question like this, do the math real quick on the paper. Don't just brain power it. I know most of you are smart enough to brain power it, but show some work. Put an x in for 0, and even if that's all you do, okay, 0 is x, so that goes away. Divide by 8, so y is 2.5, right? Which would be 5 over 2, 2.5. All right, so the y-intercept is 2.5. I'm okay if that's all you do. Look, I figured out which one it is.
I was crazy.
Which one is it?
B.
It's gotta be B,
Yeah, it was.
okay? So, I didn't even, but if we do, I mean, if you put a 0 in for y, then x has to be 4. Okay, so it's not hard to show a little bit of work on these.
If you just did one, you could have gotten an answer.
And if you don't show work and miss it, you miss all the points. If you do show work and miss it, then you miss half the points.
I see.
Okay? So
So do your work and you get 50%.
you do the work, miss them all, you still get a 50%.
All
All right.
That's
you
not
don't
too
fail.
bad.
All right.
It's still a failing grade, but you'll still
It's
fail.
better than a 0.
Not by much.
All right, so Jake needs to buy 120 beverages for a party. What equation in standard form determines the number X of 8 packs of juice and the number Y of 12 packs of water that Jake can buy?
Party.
Can you put like
This
8x
is easy, we
equals
just
12
can-
y equals
You could just do like 8x plus 12y equals
Plus.
120.
Yeah, plus.
120.
Okay, so we want however many 8 packs of juice he buys, that would be 8 times however many packs of juice, plus however many 12 packs of water he buys. He needs a total of 120 beverages.
And that's it?
Yeah.
Well,
Magic.
I think the real question. for
Now,
this
hold
one-
on.
Brain power, you can't do that.
Wait a minute. Is that it?
Yes.
No. How, you need to solve it.
Standard.
What rule have I broken?
Let me check.
You can't have a positive y
They can't be
intercept.
factors. Oh.
Yeah, they are in simplest form.
What?
They
Which?
can have no common factors over 1 and 2, they all have a common factor.
They've got common factors. 8, 12, and 120 share common factors.
4.
Share the factor of 4. So I need to divide everything by 4, and that would be 2x plus 6y, no, 3y. My bad. I don't know why I divided by 2 in my brain. 3y equals 30. What in the world? I'm dividing by 2 again. Equals
I just
They're still
divide by
factors.
30.
I don't know.
Now 2,
They all can be.
they can't, I mean, 2 and 30 share factors, and 3 and 30 share factors, but 2 and 3 don't share factors.
Oh, that's.
Yeah.
Mr. Fish, I think the real problem for this is who would buy a juice and water for a party?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Healthy
Oh,
people.
God forbid I ask a question.
All right, so are we, listen, I mean, expect that to happen, where they give you the information, write an equation that looks good. I mean, this was very simple, we were ready to move on, but we didn't think about the rules, right?
Yeah.
So examine those rules. If you see the words, standard form, think about the rules and make sure that your final answer fits the rules. All right. Oops. Okay. Number 15. Here we go. Number 15. For the situation in item 14, which of the following represents a combination of juice and water that Jake can buy? So we wrote the equation. It was 2x plus 3y.
Yeah.
2x plus 3y equals 30.
Okay, so that's our equation. Select all that apply. So,
Well, it's,
A is one of them.
so if I put a 0 in for x, can I put a 10 in for y?
Yeah.
Yes.
well, we know it can't be B or D because you can't have half a drink or negative 10 of a drink.
I can't, there you go, I can't have a negative 10, and they're not gonna let me buy a half of a 8-pack or whatever
Okay,
it
so
was,
the other one has to be
right?
C, because if they
So-
choose all
Well,
of
no,
that, then there's
but-
gotta
Well-
be two.
Well, not
So-
necessarily, but it does work actually,
Right.
because
Yeah, it is.
12
Don't-
times
yeah.
2 is 24
But don't
times
just assume it's.
two, plus
don't just
two-
assume
two
it's
times
gonna
six.
be
Well, I also
30.
did it in my head, but.
Yeah,
You're not supposed to
So-
do that, you're supposed to show work.
2 times 12
Show.
plus 3 times 2 equals 30, and that, I mean, that checks, I like it. 24 plus 6 is 30, so that's good, okay. All right. So, there you go. Determine whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So, what's the quickest way to do that?
Solve it.
Put it into slope-intercept form. This one's already in slope-intercept form, so I know that slope is 7, right?
And you have to like take away x, so that what 7y equals negative x to the 3 or plus.
So take away x, so that would be 7y equals negative x minus 3. Divide by 7. So that would be y equals negative 1/7 x minus 3/7.
How did you do that in your head?
Do what part in my head?
3 divided by 7.
Well, 3
Well,
over 7 it's 3 over 7. I don't,
I'm very smart.
yeah.
They're perpendicular.
Just leave it as that. Okay. So this one is a positive 7 for slope. This one is a negative 1/7. That is opposite reciprocal, so they are perpendicular.
Now,
Okay.
Or do you want to just, I guess I just circled it.
You can circle that. guys on this one, to show some work, don't do this in your head and then circle one of the answers. All right, show me that this one has a slope of 7, this one, you know, this one's slope is -1/7. So that, you know, these two right here, that makes them perpendicular. All right,
Hold on, I don't follow exactly. Oh, because it's the so that one's 7/1. The opposite of it would be 1/7.
-1/7,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, I follow.
Yep. Okay, we good?
Yeah, which of the lines are perpendicular to 6x plus 18 equals 5? Select all of the lines.
Q. A. We'll wait the sum first.
Yeah.
So, do you remember the shortcut for finding the slope when it's in standard form?
Flip it and like put it into like a fraction.
Let's do it real
1/18.
quick. Let's do it real quick and then talk about the shortcut, okay? So 6x plus 18y equals 5. So we need to find the slope of that line, which means I want y by itself, right?
Take away 6x.
Minus 6x. So 18y equals -6x plus 5.
The slope is negative.
Then divide by 18.
It's
So
negative
y
1/18.
equals -6/18 is 1/3 plus 5/18, which we don't care, we really don't care about the y-intercept on these, right?
So it's
That means
so-
A is 1 though.
A.
Okay, hold on, I forgot to put an X there. So what I wanted to get at was the shortcut to find the slope of a standard form line.
I got that figured out.
Okay, so what letter is this in standard form? A, and what letter is this? B. And this is a negative sign. So in standard form, if you want to know the slope, it's -A over B. Because you're always going to put the AX term to the other side to get y by itself. And we don't care about we don't care about the rules for standard form at this point because we're no longer in standard form. We're put it into slope intercept form. So the rules for standard form don't matter. All I need to do is identify what 2 letters would be in the A and B position. Okay, so in standard form, I can just take the A value over the B value and make it negative, and that's my slope. Guys, if you don't like that, if that's confusing or you're not seeing it, you're not understanding, just solve it. Just do what we did, do these steps. That'll always work. I'm just trying to save you a shortcut. Okay? So -A over B will give you the slope when you're in standard form. All right, so we know the slope is -1/3 of our line, -1/3. So what slope is perpendicular to that?
X equals 3.
+3, so that means this one is for sure.
Would B be it?
When you remember when I want to pop your brains open like a pop can and pour in information
That would just be
about horizontal,
Yeah.
this is a vertical line. So what's the slope of a vertical line?
0.
No, undefined or infinite, and it's definitely not the opposite of -1/3. Okay?
It'd be y, it would be y.
What is the slope of this one gonna be?
3.
3. This is in point slope form, so that number is my slope. So C is definitely there.
D.
What
And
about-
this one's in standard form. How do you find the slope of standard form?
A over
Negative.
A over.
So that would be -3/9, which is -1/3. So that's actually gonna be a parallel slope to this, not a perpendicular,
And
right?
I solved D, so I know that it's not right.
Well, I just solved D as well,
Oh.
okay? I used the shortcut to get the slope.
That's not it.
Okay, so D is no good, B is no good, but A and C work. Okay, so on the test tomorrow, it might ask you for parallel lines, right? It might ask you find the ones that have parallel lines or perpendicular. It might be other answers, but there you go. Okay. Number 18.
Equation in slope-intercept form of the line that passes through -111 and is parallel to the graph of y equals -8x minus 2.
All right, so I know the slope and I know the point.
So would it end up being 1 minus 11 equals -8 times x plus 1?
Whoa, where did that come from?
Hold on. parallel to this.
Parallel.
Parallel means the same slope, right? So that's my M, and then I have a point. So this is my point slope form. All he did was take the slope right here, and here's my ordered pair. So point slope form was the way to go. Now I just need to do what?
Right hand form, intercept form.
Now I need to get slope intercept, so I need to solve for y. So 2 steps. Y minus 11 equals negative 8x minus 8. Add 11. Y equals negative 8x plus 3. I know on your test, the way the tests are done right now, you don't have a ton of room to write. You'll have lots of room to write on your test tomorrow. It'll be 2 full pages. So I spread them out. Okay? We good with this?
Yeah. it gives you no
So
guidance.
it could, again, this question on the actual test could say perpendicular. So if it gives you this, you'd have to take the opposite reciprocal slope and then solve in point slope form, right?
So then it'd be positive 1/8.
It'd be positive 1/8 then. So just be ready for whatever. Don't get locked into one way of doing it just because that's how you see it on the review. All right, we good?
Whoa, what is that on question 19?
Question 19. All right. Line J passes through point 20 and is perpendicular to the graph of y equals 1/4 x minus 3. Whew. So then there's another line K is parallel to the line J. Oh, I hate these questions. I need a picture. So line J is perpendicular to that graph. Line K is parallel to J, which means K is also perpendicular to that graph. What is the equation of slope-intercept form of line K? So line K is parallel to J. J passes through that point. What is the equation in slope-intercept form of line K? So all I need is the slope, and I've got a point. I really don't care about line J. Line J, am I reading that right?
Yeah.
Line J really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so line K is perpendicular to this.
So it's gonna have the negative.
That's the
4
point, it's basically-
slope of
No. So line K is parallel to line J, and J passes through point 2.
I don't care what point J goes through. I just care that J is perpendicular to this, which means a -4 slope. And then K is parallel to J, so K will have the same slope as J, right? And now I know that K passes through this point, so I can put the equation in slope-intercept form using point slope. All right, so y minus 6 equals -4 times x plus 1.
We solve it.
And then solve it for y.
-4 and then y equals
Plus 2.
I did it.
Okay?
What is the
it
y-intercept
took
of
me
the
forever
line?
to do it.
What is the y-intercept of that line? So it's in point slope form. I need to get it to slope intercept form, right?
What is 3.5?
Plus, whoops, not plus, it would be minus. Minus 12, 13, 14. Minus 14.
Minus 15. And take away 4, take away 4. Y equals -4, take away 2.
Cool. I think he's trying to prove a point here. Is that what the intercept is?
The y-intercept is -18.
Okay, but I did that, but I did it way slower, cause I changed it into standard form and then I figured that out. But if it works,
It works. I mean, yeah, you took some extra steps, but it works.
Well, if I
and I have no problem with that. The book would call that not being efficient, and they want you to do things as efficiently as possible. But for me, accuracy trumps efficiency. So if it takes you extra steps to do it, to be sure that you're accurate, I support that. But I also want you to work on your efficiency. That's like the next level. Okay, so accuracy is most important, efficiency is next. Okay. Choose amongst yourselves which one of those you'd like me to make a bonus question so that it won't hurt you.